Vanishing Point, a novel by Keith A. Kenel, 7 of 101. Part 7. Once the students were in the cafeteria, teachers' assistants directed Miss Shannon's self-sufficient brown baggers to their lunch table. As the students sat or waited in line, Miss Shannon disappeared, her heels click-clacking on her way to the teacher's lounge, her midday respite from chaos. Teaching assistants Mrs. Escobedo and Mrs. Gunta, the former a larger Latina woman and the latter a small Philippine, pointed at each child as they filed in, directing them with an extended digit or two toward the white plastic cafeteria tables that had been lowered from their wall niches, exhorting the students to slide over as far as the attached benches would allow. Sarah led Miss Shannon's milk-only section of the lunch line, and she quickly joined the kids who had already opened their lunch boxes or torn it into their brown bags and begun to eat. Sarah was fifth from the wall, and other milk buyers began to fill the bench to her left, each student admonished by teachers' assistants to slide closer and fill the gap so that all of Miss Shannon's 32 third graders could fit on the single, extra-large plastic picnic table. In addition to the taunting from the other third grade classes, being last to the cafeteria also meant less time to eat. Lunch recess was blocked as a 45-minute slot, but the clock began at 12:10, not when the students sat down. Sarah, having traveled through the lunch line quickly, had 15 minutes to complete her lunch. The students who stood in line for hot lunch had even less time to eat as they arrived at the table even later. Sarah's half of the table had filled, and students on the other side were placing their lunch trays down, opening their milks, and frantically spooning what passed for nourishment into their mouths. Sarah, who was engrossed in finishing her food before the class was marched outside for their nominal 20-minute recess, paid little attention when someone plopped a tray onto the table across from her. "Hi, friend!" Skylar's voice rang out. Sarah looked up in shock. Skylar was usually at the back of the hot lunch part of the cafeteria line, while Sarah was toward the front. This ensured that the two girls would be separated by a dozen students, but because Sarah was very far forward in line today, Chance had arranged to have Skylar sitting directly in front of her. "Skylar," Sarah declared with surprise. "Fancy meeting you here," she said, using her tongue to push her food to the side of her mouth. "You ought to bring your lunch more often," Skylar replied, curling her nose at the food on her tray. "That way we could sit across from each other." "Yeah, I don't think it works that way. We just got lucky. And you could bring your lunch too, you know." "No, I can't. Mama won't make me lunch except on the weekends. Same for breakfast." "Oh, on holidays too," Skylar added. "Yeah, Marty doesn't like making me lunch either, but I only get to buy breakfast when she has to go to a job or an early exercise class." "Your mom has to go to a class for exercise? What for? Is there something wrong with her?" "She's not my real mom. She's my stepmom. My real mom is up in Chicago. Marty goes to exercise class to be fit, not because she has to. Doesn't your mom go to a gym?" Skylar raised one eyebrow and tilted her head to the side. "No, Mama works and watches TV. She's too tired to go to no gym." Mrs. Escobedo tapped on the table between the girls. "Eat. You're almost out of time." "Yes, ma'am," Sarah said, taking another bite from her sandwich and a chug of chocolate milk. "It's just you and your mom, right? When did your dad die?" "When I was in first grade down at Donahue Elementary in Gadsden. Mama and Daddy was separated, and then one day I comes home from school and Mama said he done died in Jefferson and that we had to go live someplace else, and boom! We moved just like that. I was really sad because I hadn't seen him since kindergarten. I didn't get to say goodbye. That was the first time we moved. We've been to cities all over the South. I miss my daddy." "I'm sorry," Sarah commiserated, reaching her hand out to squeeze her friend. "I miss my mom too. Not that it's the same." "You better eat," she added. "We can talk at recess." Skylar beamed at her friend. "And we can play and talk all night."